recording this webinar, and we will be sharing the video with you along with the PowerPoint and then the questions answered. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. The folks that are here, appreciate you here. The ones that sign in later, then they'll catch us in midstream. So I'm Travis Davis. I'm the co-founder of Point in Time, and Mike is the other co-founder and the inventor of Meeting Mapper. So we're really pleased to have you guys. So we'll go through, this is going to be kind of a short presentation, and we're going to do a live demo of the product, because I think the believing is really seeing what's going on with Meeting Mapper. So go ahead and start. Again, if you have any questions, please ask. So a little bit about Point in Time. We've been around for, I guess, about 3 years now. We started in November, formed the company November 2011. We've got about 41,000 users of our mobile and our Salesforce and our Oracle applications. We figure there's been about 1 million meetings completed with Meeting Mapper over the course of these 2.5 to 3 years that the product's been out. Here you see some of our customers and then some of our partners that we partner with. So, get down to the gist of why you guys took time out of your busy day to listen to me rant. Thank you for the 7 pain points of Salesforce, but really, it's not only Salesforce, it's CRM in general. And we've kind of, by talking to a lot of people over the couple of years, from all levels within the organization that use CRM, we've come up with 7 pain points. They're pretty much in order of what we see from those folks and here. So one of them is poor usage and adoption rates of Salesforce. And mainly that's around the people that you really want to use it, which is the sales teams. And there could be a number of reasons for that. One, it's hard. It's not intuitive. Many places to put the information. There's no central repository to look at the holistic view of your interactions with your customers and what's in it for them. So they really don't see the usage of it like you should, or the adoption rates like you should. So that's number one. Number two is really getting the valuable key performance indicators from your team. They're not being collected because it's not really about the activity, it's what's going on inside the activity to drive revenue. You want to be able to know if your team is in a meeting, what stage of the opportunity are they having meetings in to be able to move to the next stage to be able to close this deal. Where are they having their meetings at? How many meetings for a particular stage of an opportunity? So there's all these information, and Meeting Mapper gathers about 75 individual KPIs just by putting information in Meeting Mapper. There's a lack of reliable and relevant data and information regarding accounts and opportunities. This is very key because you can tell this when you have an account rep leave in the middle of an opportunity. At times, you're either going to push the deal, you're going to have to take it over, the competition's going to come in, all the information with the account rep, or you just remove the deal completely. With Meeting Mapper, you get this visibility or transparency to accounts because you are almost there with the rep. You can't be in all the meetings, but Meeting Mapper can. And then we put all this data in Salesforce, and that's reliable, relevant information coming out of your interactions with your customers. There's no easy, repeatable process to manage sales meetings across account teams. Each account team may have different ways to do a meeting, but you need some way to have a repeatable process when you bring somebody in and say, hey, this is what resonates with our customers. You need to talk about this and talk about this during this stage of an opportunity. So there's no easy way to do that. So with Meeting Mapper, you're able to, it's basically the flow of a meeting is how Meeting Mapper was designed and architected. It's impossible to discern what messages are resonating. You know, you always get the question, hey, what did the customer like? Well, they like this and this. Well, you've never been able to gather that and then look at it in the dashboard, to look at this information and then generate marketing activities, email campaigns, social media stuff. Because it's almost like a real-time survey, and that's what Meeting Mapper gathers. What are the 3 things that resonated in every meeting and what 3 things didn't, based on what you want to look at or what you want to capture. And teams are not practicing the stated sales methodology. A lot of times you'll call a sales guy and say, hey, why was, for example, you said Jane is 4, why was she 4? She said she liked her product. Well, that doesn't mean they'll buy, right? With Meeting Mapper, when you say somebody is for or against, you need to justify that based on your methodology that you input. They said they'll buy it. They said we're leading. Not just as happy ears goes right out the window, and you're almost having them ensure that your sales methodology is being practiced. Revenue forecasts are not meaningful and accurate as they could be, but they're based on information collected in the actual meeting that drives revenue. What that means is, if I get all this information and I look at it, I go, okay, Jade is for it because she said she'll buy it. She's the economic buyer. Okay, I feel pretty confident that we're going to get this the deal at the time that we think we're going to get it. Better than, oh, you know, Jane, she said she liked our product, so how are you forecasting this? If you haven't ID'd the decision makers, how can you say you're going to close a deal this quarter or this month? That's really impossible. So we make the forecasts are better because there's more accurate data to be able to do that forecast on. Any questions, comments? Mike, is there anything?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So what are the hurdles on your way to CRM promise, right? No place to plan a meeting in Salesforce. There's no way you can plan a meeting in Salesforce to be able to plan it, execute it, and follow up. And follow up is more than the action items or next step. That's all the information you gather at the back end. So there's no easy place to do that in Salesforce. It's difficult to capture data while in meetings. Meeting Mapper supports the browser in Salesforce, Salesforce One, and our mobile app, Meeting Mapper, which is on the App Store from Apple, and it's free for download. And there's no configuration required other than knowing your login information to Salesforce and that Meeting Mapper is installed in the back end of Salesforce. Meeting requires multiple tools. You need to have Outlook. You need to have the services that go around to send the email out, to send the agenda out, the queues in there, the technology. What are you going to use to do that right now? Multiple things. Reps are traveling, right? They're on the move. There's more mobile. The mobile market has just exploded. And they're on their devices. They're out of office, and they're just busy. They're going from one meeting to another meeting to another meeting. And sometimes in a meeting, you don't even have any connectivity. So how are you going to capture these notes? Not without being connected. And then when you get connected, how can you update Salesforce in about 20 seconds with all the information that you just gathered in that meeting? That's one of the hurdles, and that's some of the things that Meeting Mapper overcomes during the process of a meeting. So I'm going to jump right into a demo. I'm going to let you know that some of the things you're going to be seeing are going to be released in our summer 14. I'll let you know what is new and what is currently in the product of Meeting Mapper 360. So it takes a brave man to show you beta on a large audience. So here we go. Pretty confident in what we're doing. I'm going to jump out of here, and I'm going to go into Salesforce. So with Meeting Mapper, you can start a meeting from an account, a contact, a case, a campaign, or an opportunity. It's suited to wherever you want to start your meetings from, or wherever you're engaging the customer from. Normally, I kind of like to start from the opportunity. So what I'm going to hop into another opportunity called Acme 600, and you'll see that we have a new section here called Meetings. And we have new meeting, opportunity report, and opportunity timeline. And then I'll go over all of these in detail as we're doing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on a new meeting. What you're going to see is going to bring me up into this, basically the create a new meeting tab or window. And I give the meeting a name. I'm just going to give it, let's see. Acme. Now, we have what we call templates. And as you see, I picked this template discovery meeting that I already created. It already lets me know what are the prerequisites for this meeting. What does the user or the meeting organizer need to do before the meeting to ensure it's successful? And here's some of the insights that we want to gather or we're going to track in the meeting once we get completed. So I give it a location. This can be an address, it can be a phone number, up to 150 characters long. We're going to put Allen, Texas, since that's where we're at. It's already mapped to that opportunity, so I don't have to go in and figure out what opportunity do I want to link this opportunity to? I can start a meeting right now, or I can plan it in the future. So I'm going to plan it for tomorrow, and I want it to be at 2 o'clock p.m., and I think the duration is going to be an hour. Here, I can go ahead and put in my GoToMeeting information. Now, we don't interact or integrate with GoToMeeting by default. You'll need to go ahead and create the meeting and then copy and paste the information into Meeting Mapper at this time. Type of meeting is where are these meetings happening, not the physical address, but are they on site or at the EBC? One thing a lot of corporations like to track is how many customers are visiting the EBC, Executive Briefing Center, and out of those, how many deals closed because they were there? So now you can start tracking that very easily. And you can add your own type in here. So it's fully configurable by you. So I'm going to say it's out of my home office. I looked everything over, and now I'm going to save the meeting. So what this is going to do, it's going to go ahead and save the meeting right in Salesforce. We're 100% native. So as you also see, I just got an email saying, hey, Travis, you have just scheduled this meeting for this date. Here are the prerequisites. You can put whatever you want in here, by the way. Now, here are some links to make sure that everything is covered. So I have the new PowerPoint. I went out and visited the company's website. Go out and look at the information at data.com. So I look at all this information, and I know beforehand that I've already accomplished all my meeting prerequisites. And you can have as many prerequisites and as many meetings or meeting templates as you want. As you see, based on the template that I selected, it already has my predefined goals and objectives of the meeting. Now, what I can do, I can go ahead and remove all these and put something else that's more relevant for me, and it does not affect the template. It only affects this meeting. So you can see that I'm already in the meeting. I'm blue. I'm a participant is the color blue. I have my company and my name. LinkedIn is some things we're working on right now that I can't show you, but we're looking at LinkedIn integration with Meeting Mapper. So I can change this icon here, table, to better represent where I'm physically at. So if I'm in an oval type table, I can look at that. If I'm in another one, I can cycle through it. I can move people around the table to figure out where they're sitting to better represent physically where they're sitting. Are they getting in a political structure within the meeting, based on role, based on stance, whatever I need to help me figure out what's going on in this meeting. We also create a chatter group. So every time you create a meeting, we create a chatter group for that meeting. And when you add somebody, for example, a sales executive and their sales engineer, both in the same meeting, one's in California, one's in Texas, they can chatter in real time back and forth. Hey, it says, hey, Travis, ask Jane this question. I already asked it to her. See if you get the same response. And I capture that in Salesforce in the chatter. Or I can add somebody from marketing, for example, that I know is not going to be in the meeting. But I may want them to be involved in the chatter. Hey, I need a customer reference, or I need a slick, or I need to do something. And they can answer that right away. And you can also paste files to the meeting from a date time stamp perspective to ensure that everybody, we talked about this pricing and what did we talk about during this time at this meeting. So, and we use this also in the mobile app that I can take a picture and append it to the meeting and chat it. So here's our navigation bar up here, very self-explanatory. So I'm going to add a meeting attendee. So I just go on add, and I can add a user, which is from my team, a contact from the account, look up another, maybe a partner, or I can add a new contact in the meeting, and when I add them to Salesforce, add the contact. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new user here, and I'm going to go ahead and add Howard, Edward, and Deanne here. Now, what you're going to see here is I've never had a meeting with these people in this opportunity, or I would have already identified their stance and role. Let me go back into my meeting. And now you see everybody's here. They're all orange because I've never talked to them before. This is their initial time in the meeting. So I'm just planning my meeting right now. I don't know what their stance is, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change these people's stance to at least undecided. So I go in here, and this brings up interface. And what this happens here is whatever I put here appends the contact record in Salesforce. So I'll pick my stance, and we have against is red, green is for, yellow is neutral, pink is a no-show, participant is orange, blue, and undecided is orange. I don't know the level of participation. I'll put interactive at least, and I at least know these folks are an evaluator. Meeting mapper ships with 36 roles predefined, and you create your own based on your methodology. Here I can take notes about the person, so I'm going to save it. And you see Howard has a flag. I'm going to go ahead and change everybody here real quick. Again, I'm just planning my meeting out. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Is this resonating with what kind of information you want to gather out of your meetings that you're having with your customers? Just everybody nod your head and put yes. And I'll say this one. So we got everybody in our meeting, and now the day of our meeting. So I'm going to save it real quick first. Now, if I ever had a meeting before and I have open task with any of these people, it's going to let me know, hey, Travis, you've got some open tasks. Do you want to include them in this meeting? I don't have a previous meeting, so I say cancel, or it would have sent me an email saying, hey, Travis, these are open. You need to get them fixed. You need to take care of them. So now I can send an invite to the meeting participants right here. So I send my invite out. It's going to go out to your email address. In a second, I'll get an email saying, hey, I just scheduled a meeting using Salesforce. And there's no configuration required at all in Outlook or Gmail or whatever you use. So here you'll see that I've got my meeting invite. Tells me here's a goal, here's a link to my GoToMeeting, everything else, and all I have to do now is save it, and it adds it to my calendar event. Very easy. I can also send an agenda. But before I send my agenda, I may want to put something in it. So I just click on notes here, and all our notes are rich text notes. So I can put in here bold. Oops. So I copy all that information, I save it, I can highlight, I can bullet, I can number. We have two types of notes while we're here. Public, which are notes, and internal notes. These are what the customer, you don't want them to see. This is, for example, if you've ever hit a reply all on the email, and as soon as you replied all, you go, uh-oh, maybe I should have read that a little better. We already separate the data for you, so you don't put the incriminating information in the meeting export back to the customer. And based on the template, I can put information to the organizer or the meeting planner, say, here, talk about this, something you may need to capture. So we're all good there. So now I can send my agenda. So first of all, I always like to send the agenda to myself first, just to kind of make sure that it kind of reads how I want. And you can change the message that goes with the agenda in the email. You can tune it to what you would rather have, make it more personalized for you and your organization. So I got my email here, got my agenda. You put whatever you want in here in our instructions. I can go ahead and preview the agenda. Very easy. Nothing, just please have a projector, very easy to read and to the point. Now everybody can say, oh, you know what? We have consensus. Great. Let's go ahead and now we're ready for the meeting. Day of the meeting, I either can use, my Salesforce One app or the browser. Nowadays, nobody has any problems anybody to bring a laptop or a iPad or anything else into a meeting to be able to take notes. It's almost kind of given. And you can still take notes on paper, then transcribe them back in here if you want. So let's say that I'm in my meeting and I want to really understand what each and every person wants in this meeting. So this is something new called individual takeaway. So what I can do, and I can go around the room and I can say, okay, Leanne, what do you want? What do you want to get out of this meeting? I want to Salesforce, right? That's what I want to get out of the meeting. I go to Edward. I go, Edward, what do you want to get out of here? Right? What do you want in this meeting? Let's say easy to use. And then Howard finally, what does he want? And he wants, you know, a good price. So now what I've done, I've captured everybody's what's important to them. I've personalized the meeting to them. So I just put this away. As the meeting progresses, I'm finding out, if I look at Edward here, I find out that he's a CEO. Normally, as a sales guy, I would not work with the CEO every day to try to get a deal done. I would work with a project manager or director, something like that. But my CEO should link up with Edward. So what happens now is we have an executive sponsor. You create these as many as you want. And I'll say, Travis, and I say, you know, instead of just a canned email message, Travis, please send something. Let Travis know what's going on. You know. So now, when he gets that email, he goes, well, you know, I don't even know what this is. So now he's able to do that. That's new. The individual message like that is new. As a matter of fact, we sent that message. We just updated the opportunity with a task. That's something already went out. And the new executive sponsor is going to get an email saying, hey, Travis, you know, you're the executive sponsor of Edward. You know, here's information, here's an opportunity, here's my little message to him, here's his information, reach out, because now you're building a relationship outside of the opportunity with somebody who can definitely influence the deal in your benefit. And you're getting a very good relationship now where your competition may not have that relationship with the executive staff. So during the meeting, I'm going to say, you know what, Howard, I'm liking what Howard says. He said some really good things. So I'm going to say that he is 4. Now, if he doesn't match one of the criteria that you put in here, because it's all customizable to you based on your methodology, that he can't be 4. If he hasn't done one of these things, he can't be 4. He's neutral or undecided at best. But you know what? He said he'll buy it. That's probably the best thing you could ever hear. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. It's going to turn him green and remove that flag. So Meeting Mapper has some intelligence built into it that a certain role and certain stance will either throw up a yellow flag or a red flag. Yellow being this person can jeopardize the opportunity. Red flag being that this person can kill it on its own. So it's built into the product. Not only do we flag this individual, but we will flag the meeting in the opportunity and the account to let you know that something's up, that you need to go ahead and take care of it. So here, Leanne, I'm not liking what I'm hearing at all. So I'm gonna say that she's against. So when I do that, it's had the same thing. Why is she against? You know, it's even more important to figure out why somebody's against than why somebody's for. You know, she said, we're not going to move forward. Simple as that. And because all these, everything in Meeting Mapper is structured data, all except the meeting notes. So I can run reports and build reports off of everything. I can figure out why most people say they're against. And now I can start building my objection mitigation to when people say this. So now I can start, you know, figuring out what I'm doing. And even Howard here, I'm going to go ahead and make him my champion because, you know, he's done some good things, but just because he's done some good things doesn't mean he's a champion. Based on your methodology, why is he a champion? You know, he got us in front of the C-levels. He referred us as in the account. He's a sponsor. He'll take a call anytime. Whatever you're going to put in here, I'll put the guys in front of the C-level. So now I'm understanding everything, all the dynamics going in my meeting. The notes section, again, public and private, I've copy and pasted 72-page document out of Word in here and still had room to go. So you can type till your fingers fall off when you're typing in these notes. If you use the Mobile One app or our iPad app, it actually understands voice and series, so you can talk into the notes and do the dictation of the meeting notes in the mobile app. And I'll show you that here in a second. So I'm going through my meeting. You know, I'm having a good time. I'm taking notes. This is new that we're testing right now. It's called Actionable Intelligence. So I can click on this. This is, for example, let's say that this is part of my meeting and I'm capturing this, or I don't want to take notes. I don't lose in the meeting. I just want to capture this information about this interaction that I've had with the customer. So what we do is we provide these, you know, actionable intelligence, competitors, the pain points, strengths, weaknesses, obstacles, objections, why-bys, and these right here. So those are hard-coded in the meeting mapper. What you're able to do, you're able to put in the selection based on your methodology. I'm in a meeting and the customer says, you know what, I want to make a decision by the 26th of September. Perfect. One of the biggest things, but almost never gets asked, do you have a budget? Yes or no? Yes, we have a budget. Are you going to be a referenceable customer? Yes, no, well, maybe after the deployment, so I'll put that. What actions happened? What happened in this meeting? You know, we produced a test template. Or what decisions we're going to move forward. Enter any open issues. This is, you know, type whatever you want in here. What are the business drivers? What are the technical requirements? Business drivers. Technical requirements. No heavy lifting. Now, if they're going to be a reference to a customer, who's going to be a reference for them? And I can actually choose out of the contact list. The competitors. Who are my competitors, right? Again, you put it here, let's you know, Microsoft CRM, Sugar, Evernote, right? They're the competitors, 1, 2, 3. What are the pain points, right? And again, this, whatever you want to do, no repeatable process, right? Or you can have multiple. And here you can put in, if what the sales rep is getting in the meeting is not in the drop down, they can put whatever they want here in this reform text, and we're going to capture it. And every one of them. What's your strengths? Hey, you know what? We're the incumbent. Good for us. What are our weakness? Maybe they reference to the competitor. Maybe we're not the incumbent. Put whatever you want in here. What are the obstacles to be successful? Gatekeeper is blocking me to access the decision maker. Happens all the time. No budget. Open support issues. The worst thing ever is to go into a meeting with a customer and you think you're going to have a great meeting, and the first thing out of their mouth is, we have an open support ticket and it's been open for 2 weeks. Now that, A, you should have done that at your homework, but then that really could put a kibosh on what you want to talk about. What are the objections? You know, don't see a need, not funded, not a priority. So you can start building all this in. And what are the why buys, right? Up for renewal. They're going to do something because they're up for renewal. I'm going to save it. So I saved all this information. I can always go back and change it later. So I'm in my meeting and we're having these great discussions, and I'm saying, you know what? Maybe Howard says, Travis, I want to see, could you send me a new price list next week? Fantastic. So I just go up in a task, and I'm going to assign myself a new task during the meeting in Salesforce. So we have 2 types of tasks, and next steps are an action item. This is an action item, and I want to say, and I got to do it by next week, and send pricing, and I'm going to save it. So what happens is, it's going to update not only this little field right here, but it's going to update everything. And I can even put somebody as a contact. It's also going to send me an email saying, hey, Travis, you just created an action item or a task in Salesforce. You can update it here, or better yet, I'm going to update it right here and put it in progress. So I already updated everything in Salesforce. So this is a single entry, multiple export of all the data in Meeting Mapper. So I'm all good. Everything's good with the meeting. I'm done. I can either complete my meeting here, go back to my hotel, go back to my office, or right after the meeting and say, well, okay, now I want to complete my meeting. So I can complete it right here. I hit completed. This is where it's going to say, hey, what about this actionable intelligence? Is there anything that you want to change? Yes, no, whatever. No, I'm good. Now it's going to say, okay, Travis, what was hot, what was not? These are those meeting insights. Okay, during the meeting, what really resonated? Top 3 things are really resonated. Okay, usage of Salesforce, they see that. IDs of current pain points, right? And maybe the mobile support. They get that. So next, what 3 things didn't resonate? Well, maybe nothing was terrible, right? So you don't have to pick anything here. So you hit done. And the next thing is the infamous, how was your meeting? Great. What do you mean great? Oh, you know, demo went well, schedule another meeting. Well, that's not great. That's adequate at best. So now you can score your meeting. By default, we give a 1 through 5. But you pick the justification. You select or you input what this justification is for this score. If I go, oh, I've checked all my objectives, yeah, but you know what? I did a little more than that. What's a 4 say? You know what? I moved to the next stage. So I'm capturing this data, and I put it all in Salesforce. And now I've captured everything. So I'm all done with my meeting. I've planned it, I've executed, and I've already did some follow-up. So now I want to send the customers what we talked about. So all I have to do is hit export. There's 3 types of exports: public, private, and private with chatter. So capture all your chatter feed. So first of all, I want to send the customer this email, or this, there's nothing to harm you. What are the notes? What did we talk about? Who was there? What was the time? That's it. I just save it, and then I email the PDF to my customers. Now, I had a boss, Ed Riley, who I don't know how he knew it, but every time I walked out of a meeting, he would call me and say, how'd the meeting go? Are they going to buy? What are the why buys? Do they have budget? All this information. If I couldn't answer him, his next question was, why'd you even go? So, but he wasn't always logged into Salesforce. So what I could do now is I could export the private. What this does, this captures everything in the meeting. When I said somebody's for, why? If I said somebody's against, why? Why are they a champion? All the notes about the person. What the public notes? What are the internal notes? What are the insights? What was hot? What was not? What's the score? Action items. What was all this actionable intelligence coming out of there? It has everything that I talked about in the meeting. And because it's so new, I forgot to go back and hit the individual takeaways, and I can go back into each one of these and put comments. Leanne is, yep, she gets it. So we're good there. Do we meet them? Yes. Right. I go by there every one of those. So now that I've met them, and I know that I went back and I followed up with that individual, or maybe I'd call them later, talk to them one-on-one, maybe get some additional information. Say, hey, you wanted this. Let's get a little deeper into exactly what you wanted out of here. So new, I forgot about that. Or I can do my chatter right here. I can clone a meeting if I've got a weekly meeting, or I can schedule a new meeting here with the same people or somebody else just to make it happen. One thing we can do too that's very powerful is add a new contact. So if I'm in a meeting and somebody walks in, it happens all the time, and I say, who's that? They go, oh, this is Bill Lacey, right? What's his title? Well, he is a VP of marketing. I don't know, I don't know his email address. I can pretty much gather based on everybody else's of his email. And I'm just going to put info at point in time so it'll work. You know, I don't know his stance. He's, you know, undecided. Never met the guy. Look, seems pretty good, and I know he's at least an evaluator. So I'm capturing all this information. And there you go. So now I save it. So what I'm going to show you here in a second is that it not only added him to the meeting, it added him as a contact in Salesforce in this account, Acme, automatically. So that allows me to do it very quickly to be able to add people in the meeting. So I've got my meeting done. I followed up. And now I want to see what does it update in Salesforce. Are there any questions or anything? Any comments?
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions. You want to handle those now?
Yeah, go for it.
So first one is someone wants to know what type of installation and configuration is required in your Salesforce org.
Okay, so as long as everybody's sitting down, there's no pre-configuration required whatsoever in your Salesforce org. You just have to be a admin, and it does require that you have campaigns. So you got the campaign module, and that's it. You don't have to have. If you don't have Chatter, fantastic. We'll install without it. Then when you install it later on, we'll add the Chatter piece automatically to Meeting Mapper. So it's just very dynamic. So there's no pre-configuration required. It takes about 3 minutes to install it, and then there's post-configuration. We do provide free training and pre-post installation to make sure that you get your template set up, your meeting insights, everything's good to go. So when you're off running, that you're successful with Meeting Mapper, because that's our ultimate goal, is you to be successful with the product. So we'll ensure that you're up and running before you go live. Any others?
Yeah. So where does all this data that Meeting Mapper gathers, where is that stored, and how does that work?
So all the information is stored in Salesforce. We have no back-end servers at a point in time. We have no access to your data whatsoever. Even on the mobile app, there's no access whatsoever, and everything is stored 100% native in Salesforce. All right, so now, everybody, well, the binoculars. So I was in the Army, so everything I do has to have binoculars or something. So I can bring these over somebody and look at every meeting this person's been in and the opportunity. Maybe he's having a bad day. I want to see what happened in the other meetings, and I can hyperlink back to another meeting. So that's what these binoculars do. So I'm going to go back into the opportunity. I'm going to show you everything that we updated right from Meeting Mapper. So one thing you'll see is that we created a new, this meeting in the section. And you can manipulate these fields, whatever you want to look at, whatever's relevant for you. We've also updated the open activity, my action item, and the meeting, because it's happening in the future. Here's our email that we sent out for the executive sponsor. Here's my competitors that I listed in my Actionable Intelligence. We feed the competitor field. The reason we don't feed the strengths and weaknesses right now from a competitor is typically you won't get those in the meeting. But if you think there's a need for that, let us know. We can do that, and that way when you have each competitor strengths and weaknesses you can gather in a meeting, we can populate these fields. But we just like to know if that's something you guys have seen that's worthwhile. And we also update notes and attachments automatically. So we updated everything in Salesforce automatically. But not only this opportunity, which I'll get back to, but we also updated the account. So we've updated the account with all the same information so we get consistency. And I'll show you that you'll be able to look at every meeting that ever happened in an account in what we call the meeting recap. So I've updated that. Here's Bill Lacey. Here's my new guy that I just brought into Salesforce as a new contact. And it's going to bring me into the contact record, and there I can see every meeting that he's been in, or I can schedule a new meeting with him. Also, because he's a contact in Salesforce, if he goes to another company with a different email address, because it's the same person, we can look at the meetings that he was in at the other company, if he was in another meeting, for example. So I'm going to go back into the opportunity. And there's a couple things we can do. One is what we call an opportunity report. This allows me to, let's say a rep leaves in the middle of an opportunity. I can now print this report. It takes every meeting that's ever happened, all the actionable intelligence, everything, and puts it into a report that, hey, I'm going to get on a plane. I can print it out, read it, and now my first meeting with the customer is nothing more than the continuation of the sales cycle. It's not, I don't have to figure out, oh, what's Edward? Who's Edward? Who's Leanne? Who's Bill? I already know that. I already know if they're for or against. So now I can have it, we call it disaster recovery for sales. So I can read this, take 25 minutes, and save my quarter. So it'll list every meeting in chronological order and any other activity that's ever happened in that, even before Meeting Mapper was installed. We also have another thing called Opportunity Timeline. You can cycle through everybody that's been in the meetings, when they go, their stance goes up, down, when they go out of an opportunity, when they come back in. So I can start tracking from a visual representation in Meeting Mapper. We also have a new thing we call Meeting Recap. So I can click on this. This shows me every meeting that I've had for this opportunity, but in a very Salesforce look and feel. I can click on the notes, tell me all the notes. That way we don't take up all the real estate. I have my meeting insights. I have all my actionable intelligence, and I have my individual takeaways. So I have this in a very, very condensed. I can look at the meeting. I can look at the account. What template did I use and what opportunity am I linked to? So we have the meeting details, political map, what was discussed, meeting insights, actionable intelligence, and individual takeaways from a very, very quick and easy perspective. I can also look at the same thing in all the other objects because this meeting recap is a child object of this parent, of the account, opportunity, whatever. So I'm going to look at every meeting that's ever happened in this account. So I can cycle through these, and here's my meeting I just had, through here, look at them. I can do my account review. I can say, my boss says, hey, Travis, I'm going to go on site with you. Give me some briefing on the customer. Say, hey, go ahead and look at the meeting recap. Let's go over it. So when they go in that meeting, they have as much knowledge of the account as you do, and that really shows a level of interest in your prospects or your customers that sometimes customers just don't feel. So this guy's coming in, he's going to ask me the same questions I already answered. Why am I going to buy? What's my pain points? But I already know your pain points, so I'm already starting to talk about them. So this is everything that's called the meeting recap. What I'd like to show you, too, is our mobile app. Again, it's free on App Exchange. It's just called Meeting Mapper, and it's for the iPad only at this time. So what you're going to see here is a meeting that I created in Meeting Mapper. You could be totally disconnected, do a meeting, and update, when you get it connected, update Salesforce in about 19 seconds. What we do is we have a contact database, so I can bring over all my Salesforce contacts or contacts I have visibility in Salesforce and add them to meetings without any type of connectivity. And we also support Oracle Sales Cloud with Meeting Mapper for the iPad. So I can do a meeting. I'm going to do a quick meeting right here. I'm going to go ahead and edit. I'm going to add some folks into the meeting, bring them in for my contacts. I'll bring Mandy. It's a short meeting. She works for a point in time. What's her stance? Now, I can also create a new person in this meeting and update Salesforce with a new contact. So I'm updating this. Done. So I'm all good. Got my meeting. Taking my notes right here. I can talk into it. It'll dictate the email or the notes. I got my private notes. What's kind of unique is I can take a picture in a meeting. For example, I'm going to take a picture, my messy desk here, and I want to use it because I want to, maybe I took a picture of a whiteboard. People draw on whiteboards all the time, and normally that is something that's very important for that person. And it's hard to capture. By the time you capture it, they're already done. So now I'm all done. I'm going to complete the meeting. I'm going to say, yeah, we made all the goal objectives. I can do a next step or action item and email them out of here when I get a connection. So I'm done. I said, okay, now I want to update Salesforce. So all I do is hit the Salesforce button, hit sync. It says, hey, where do you want to send it to? What opportunity or account or a lead or whatever. So it's going on to send it to 600 widgets, hit done, hit okay. What about my pictures? Yeah, those are cool. I want to send those. So now it's going out, updating. So this is real time. I'm not, no smoke and mirrors. So it depends on your connection. It may take a little longer depending on how big the pictures are, how many pictures, and then Salesforce has a limitation on size of pictures to be able to sync inside Salesforce. So I'm done with that. It'll take a second to sync. I'm going to go back in here, go back into my opportunity, 600 widgets, and what you're going to see here is I have a new meeting right here, and it was brought in from my iPad. Still some work I can do with it, so I want to clean it up a little bit. You'll see my pictures. They're downloaded right here. Here I got myself right here, my pictures. So basically I just updated Salesforce, 15, 20 seconds. So I get that micro moment. I'm getting the data in, and now I can go back in later when I get some time and do all my actionable intelligence, any tasks, any more notes, individual takeaways. I can update everything in Salesforce. Then we also support Salesforce One Mobile. So that is Meeting Mapper. Any more questions, Mike, or comments, or anything?
Well, there's one question about the availability of training for the product.
Yeah, all you got to do is let us know. We'll schedule some training, and we'll do it remotely. It takes, an hour or so. And if you've got two sales teams that cannot do it all at one day, we can break it up and do it each individual team. If you got one person that needs it before anybody else, we can cater to them and do our training right over the web. So, kind of, Meeting Mapper is about all levels. It's up the VP of Sales, Operations, Marketing, Product, right? Consistent information. That's what people want. Director of Sales, Operations, Marketing, and Product. It would be good if I'm going to do a new version. So when I have meetings with my current customers, I capture what's resonating, and does it make sense to build that into the product. I got one here, and just remove the events. Yeah, because we feed, from the meeting, we feed everything from Salesforce. So if you're in a meeting, you can create an event, which is a task. Event is a meeting, a task is what you're going to do. So that's kind of the answer to that question. Sales, marketing, product managers. Again, it's all consistent information. It's, as a salesperson, I can bring on reps quicker because I can tell you what's resonating. I can show you, hey, how to make your number quicker because people like this. Talk about this. Or, if you identify the competitors early enough in a opportunity, you have a better chance of winning. And then account reps. It's actually because it takes the anxiety off of me. What I'd like to show you now is our actual Salesforce. These are the reports that ship with Meeting Mapper right now. There's two dashboards. One is we call Meeting Mapper 360. So I know every meeting I'm having in the stage of an opportunity. So if I have 20 opportunities and there's prospecting, am I having meetings in those opportunities in that stage to even drive it to the next level? If I'm not, why not? How many meetings for an opportunity? How many for an account? Where are all my meetings happening? Am I aligned correctly from a geographical perspective? How many per industry? Why am I having more meetings in technology than I am in medical or healthcare? Maybe I need to do an email campaign or marketing because I'm having a lot of meetings in there to gather more. Am I getting the role of the people in the meeting? The stance. How many meetings per rep? How many do you have scheduled? Where are the meetings happening at? What are the scores? All this information you're getting out of Meeting Mapper from just inputting the data in it. The next, which is very powerful in itself, is what we call the what's hot and the what's not. This tracks current and previous quarter. So when I update it, I know that when I have a meeting or when I want to do an email campaign, I talk about this because it seems to resonate with my customers. I don't talk about some things over here. but I do talk about this. These are just a sampling of what you could do with Meeting Mapper's data. It's not inclusive. It has a broad perspective. If you're running some kind of analytics machine, Insight Squared or something like that, the data you can gather is absolutely phenomenal. And we'll be able to do it and possibly do predictability. So, we'll do that. So here's some typical customer results. And you go 2%, well, that doesn't seem like much. That's data storage. So what that means is data is now being put in Salesforce. 2% is a lot of data, and that's good data that you can drive revenue. One customer, for example, did 100 meetings in 4 weeks, all stored in Salesforce. 500% more transparency in accounts. What that means is I know as much about the account as you do as the rep because you put all this information in. I'm getting my increased usage of Salesforce because A, it's intuitive, it's easy to use, it's capturing everything I need to in a meeting. I'm seeing the value because it's helping me win deals quicker because I can start leveraging information. I've got a return on investment in Meeting Mapper in weeks and not months. Just figure, if I use Meeting Mapper twice, the guy leaves, I go in and close the deal. I've already paid for Meeting Mapper for probably the whole company for a year, if not more. And I have more productive project and sales teams. They're able to focus their attention on what really matters, and that's driving revenue, beating the competition. That's the bottom line. That's why you bought Salesforce. That's what you want to do. So summary, increased reliability of data, using Salesforce, greater transparency, greater understanding of your customers and prospects, more data to track KPIs, increased revenue, and protect the revenue one meeting at a time. The data that you gather in one meeting at a time ensures that you have disaster recovery for sales. And in closing, start your trial today. We do have a 15-day trial that is fully supported with training, helping you get set up on the templates, or you can request a more to demo to you guys, or you can email me at Travis, Travis, D as in dog, at point, the letter N time.com with any questions that you have, any comments. We'd be more than happy to hear those. We're very, I invented Meeting Mapper, but our customers have built it. This is based on a lot of what they want from Meeting Mapper. So, hey, if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. If you have any questions right now? Yes.
We have another question. So one person wants to know, at least in your opinion, does Meeting Mapper remove the need for, or completely remove the need for using Salesforce events?
Well, it could, because if your event, let's say that I have a call, so, somebody calls me and it's a lead, then I could jump right in Meeting Mapper, for example, and I can go right into my lead. I'm just going to use a lead as an example. And I can say, I got a new lead, and it came in, and Mark gives me a call. Or I call Mark, either. And now I can go, hey, boom, new meeting. I got Mark on the phone. I have a template. I haven't built it yet, but I have a template called leads. I pick that template, and bam, all I hit is, so I'm going here, lead, right? Well, I don't care about location. I don't care about time. It's right now. So I can save it, and now I've actually already created an event that I talked to the lead for this particular thing. I can add a task, reach back out to him, and I've already annotated everything in Salesforce. So I've done it all through this right here. So this is what we have. That some events may go away, they're better events, and you track them better because it's meaningful. I just get mad with people and say, hey, that was a meeting, great. Okay, that's fantastic, because I didn't tell them anything. You cannot build strategy on great. You build strategy on what's happened and you capture the data. So that's yes, it will probably take away with quite a bit of the events in Salesforce. Any other questions or comments?
That's it for now.
Hey, I want to thank everybody that joined. I really do appreciate it, and that it means a lot for us. You guys take your time out. It really does. So Again, remember that there's no prerequisites to install Meeting Mapper. Just install it. We'll support you, and you're up and running in no time at all. So again, thank you guys very much. Have a fantastic day, and just please reach out to us, and we're more than willing and ready to work with you. So again, thank you very much.